Hey, if you've taken music lessons or recorded in a studio setting at any point in time, chances are you've used a metronome or had to play along with a click track. And so for some musicians, that comes pretty easy, comes pretty naturally. For others, it's a bit of an adjustment and can be quite frustrating. So why use a click track in a worship setting? What are the benefits? Those are just a couple of questions I want to answer today. My name is Brendon. I've been leading worship for about 15 years. And at our church, we've used a click track for probably around 8 or 9 years. It's been quite a long time. And just today, I want to give you some examples of, things that were a little bumpy for us along the way, but also, what benefits there are to actually playing with a click. So the first thing, why play with one? The easiest answer to that is it's just going to tighten up your band. Your band's going to be tighter. Your vocalists are going to be tighter with the band. That's just a fact. That's just the way it is. All too often, when the click isn't used, generally you've got one person. Most often, I'm going to guess it's probably the drummer. In our situation, that one person to set the tempo was me with my acoustic guitar back in the day, and then kind of everybody had to follow me. But sure enough, without fail, we'd either speed up, slow down. Drummers have a tendency at sometimes to speed up going into fills or slow down coming out of them, so tempo can be a little bit of an up and down. Vocalists can oftentimes start songs out either slower or faster, depending on if it's a slow song or fast song. If they start a slow song slower, then it just drags on forever, and it is difficult to get the team up to a tempo and then all be together. So using a click really just takes the pressure off of the team and gives you kind of like a neutral party that says, "Hey, I'm the click, and you need to adjust to me." One of the best tips that I was ever given about playing along with a click was don't try to anticipate the click, chase it. So even if you're just a little bit behind every time, you're still with it, because if we anticipate it, we're probably going to be ahead of it, and being ahead of a click causes way more issues than being just a little bit behind it. So chase it, don't anticipate it. Um, and again, like, when we talk about in other videos, removing distractions from worship. If you've got a song that's just dragging on forever, or a slower song that's like being sung way too fast, that can just be distracting and totally hijack the atmosphere of worship in a room. And using a click also opens you up to use the tool I mentioned in my last video called MultiTracks. MultiTracks are amazing that if you've got musicians that are not able to make it to a service, you can mix those sounds into the track, play it through your PA, front of house, but also you can do cool sounds like synths and strings. Some of the tracks have amazing strings and string arrangements that just add so much to the atmosphere of worship and to the song. It fills it out. Tracks are a lot of fun to play with. Um, Another benefit is you end up playing the song at the exact rhythm and tempo that it was recorded at. And I dynamics of a song are extremely important, but honestly, when I was doing prep for this, I think tempo is probably the single most important thing with regards to playing a song, because it's written in that specific tempo for a reason. Most often, it's the lyrical and melodic flow over the music, and that can get all whacked out if you end up going super fast. I mean, like, think about playing a song like "How Great Is Our God" and doing it too fast and it's like pop punk style, or too slow and it drags on forever. We had a funny moment this last Sunday at church where we played "What a Beautiful Name," and the click track for that song somehow got changed from 68 BPM to 75. And, we started, and I'm like, this doesn't feel quite right. Looked at the vocalist, she looked at me, and we're like, yeah, this is too fast. And, sure enough, discovered that the change had been made, an error. But again, that just shows you how important tempo is to the overall feel of a song. Um, and like I mentioned earlier, playing with a click, it will absolutely make you a better musician. Um, it helps with your overall timing. It helps with cues for things like builds in a song, or if you're going into an awesome cut, like you build up and you cut and you come in and you hit it hard and drive it home. The click takes all the guesswork out of that. And, it's not going to make everybody perfect. There still has to be preparation and practice involved. But again, it's that neutral, central thing that says, hey, I'm setting the tempo, and it's what glues the team together. All right, so um, those are some of the benefits. And now, if you're thinking like, okay, that's all great, and that's what's worked for you guys, but how do like how do I start? How would you have your team start using a click? The first thing is you're going to need a good in-ear monitor system. Behringer makes a great system that's affordable that works with their X32 digital mixer. We have that for our youth. And we also have an Aviom set up at our main church that we use Sundays for our services. So you will need in-ears. For the actual in-ears, you can get inexpensive Shure. I don't know the model offhand, but just go to like Amazon or something and search for in-ear monitors, and it's the $99 version. A good amount of my team uses those and say they work great. Customs are always an option, but they're expensive. But you do get what you pay for. And I've had my customs for almost 10 years, and had them repaired a couple times, but it wasn't for anything that was like faulty or not working on their end. It was it fell off one time as I was walking, and I just so happened to step right on it as I was walking. So yeah, cracked it, had to send it in, and they do a great job at Ultimate Ears. All right, second thing. So first, you need in-ears. Second thing, take it slow. There is no pressure to be amazing with a click right out of the gate. It's going to take time. When we introduced the click to our youth, I would say it probably took them 3 to 4 months to really get comfortable, and now they all really enjoy playing with the click. Um, I would not recommend using a click on a Sunday morning until the entire team is comfortable with it. And that's not to say like you're not going to struggle with it for a little bit when you integrate it into your services. Just get people to a point where they're comfortable and they're not nervous about it, because if they're nervous, chances are that's a recipe for a bad time. Take your time with it. Have people on your team practice at home with it and play along with it. Maybe even have them record a video and send it to you so you can see like, hey, I'm playing along with a click. Sounds pretty good. Practice outside of rehearsal is critical for any kind of preparation, but specifically for the click track, it's just going to really get them to be comfortable playing in the band setting when they have to have all the other instruments, so they know, okay, how do I need to mix this? I need to hear myself over everybody else. Practicing at home is paramount. Have them play along with a click. There's a ton of free apps on both Android and iOS that you can download for a click, and there's stuff available online. We used to have a drummer that would go to sleep with a click. And it was a noticeable difference that he's fantastic now and does an amazing job with the click. Time frame, I would say use clicks at your rehearsals for a minimum of 3 months, because when you approach your team and you pitch this to them, that's going to set a clear expectation, and that you can also say things like, hey guys, this is going to be difficult. It's going to be adjustment for everybody, but we're all in this together. We can be frustrated together. And be prepared for those moments. Be prepared for those moments of frustration, because they will happen, but deal with them gracefully and encourage your team. And the way that you can encourage them is just to simply say, hey, we are all going to be better off at the end of this when we are all playing with the click together. I can't tell you, it's such a peace of mind. Hit that click, and I don't have to worry about who's setting the tempo. It really brings peace of mind to the worship team. And kind of lastly, you'll get to a point where you love playing with the click more than without it. But that being said, in a moment of spontaneous worship, don't be afraid to shut that click off. Give room for flexibility. But I'm going to guarantee you what you will find, if you've been playing with a click consistently for a while and you have those spontaneous moments without it, your team is going to be so much tighter than they were without when clicks weren't in the picture. That's just, again, it will make your musicians better musicians. Timing, cues, all of it. Feel, it is one of the best things that you can do to help your team grow musically. So, man, I hope this information helped you today. If you've got any questions, please leave me a comment, and I'll be happy to respond. MultiTracks is where we use most of our clicks and tracks from. There are free apps available. I'm not familiar with really any of them other than MultiTracks. And MultiTracks is relatively inexpensive if you're just going to use the click. for your team. So I would recommend starting there. I'll put a link in the description of the video to MultiTracks. But again, I hope this helped. If you've got any questions, leave me a comment, and I'll be happy to respond to you. God bless.